Nita Singh. Hello, Sunita ma'am, are you there? Hello.
Yes, Dr. Prabhat.
Ma'am, Professor S.C. Rai sir को co-host बना दीजिए. Sir has joined.
Chavi, please do that.
Yes, but I can't find him.
Professor Suresh Chandra Rai. The full name is
Okay.
Professor Suresh Chandra. You can search.
Yeah, sir is there in the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Done.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Ask the student to start.
Ma'am, are we good to start?
Yeah, sure, please.
A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries, teachers, and students who have joined us today. I, Vamika, welcome you all to this webinar on the topic climate change and its consequences, responses, and solutions, organized by Vidya Vistar Scheme and Society for Practical Applications and Development of Economics, SPADE, Shivaji College, University of Delhi, in collaboration with Center for Environment and Economic Development, SEED. This webinar is going to throw light on several topics such as farmers' perceptions and adaptations for climate change, impact of climate change on river basin management in Hindu Kush Himalaya, and youth and climate change, elevating the voices of young people to protect our planet. Before we commence with the session, I request your cooperation to ensure the smooth progress of this session by adhering to certain protocols. Keep your cameras and mics disabled during the session. Any queries during the session may be shared in the chat box. Any unnecessary comment will attract strict action. A feedback form will be shared at the end of this session, and all the participants are requested to fill the form before leaving. Your cooperation will be appreciated. Before inviting our esteemed speakers to the spotlight, I would like to give you a brief overview about the Vidya Vistar scheme and the two institutions, SEED and SPADE, that have come together to facilitate today's event during this scheme. Vidya Vistar scheme is a scheme under the New Education Policy 2020, initiated by University of Delhi to collaborate with other higher educational institutions that are located in the remote corners of India to synergize and hence augment the limited human resource and investments for developing and improving the infrastructure and quality of education in both the institutions partnering to achieve the greater good, which otherwise would be very difficult. The Vidya Vistar scheme is thus based on the principle of mutual respect and cooperation. Center for Environment and Economic Development, SEED, is a research and knowledge center working for the Greater South Asian region, and its secretariat is based in Delhi, India. SEED starts with a broad objective and vision to promote applied research, policy advocacy, strategic partnership, training and capacity development, technical skill-based education, and sharing knowledge through publication, outreach program, and partnership for sustainable and cognitive development of the region. Society for Practical Applications and Development of Economics, also known as SPADE, is the socio-economic society of Shivaji College. SPADE was established in the year 2016 as a club and was recognized as a society in the following year. SPADE aims to create a platform for students, teachers, and experts to discuss issues that have social and economic implications and explore viable solutions, also redefining the preconceived notions on such issues during this process. It is my pleasure to acknowledge the august presence of several dignitaries who have joined us today from reputed institutions across India. We have with us Dr. Ayata Emupriti, Principal, Government College, Gangtok, Sikkim; Dr. Muhammad Ayub, Principal, Himalayan Degree College, Rajouri, Jammu and Kashmir; and Dr. Shashi Sharma, Principal, DAV College, Muzaffarnagar, Uttar Pradesh. We are honored to have you all amongst us. May I now invite Dr. Shiv Kumar Sahdev, sir, the Principal of Shivaji College, University of Delhi, to enlighten us with his noble thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. A very warm good afternoon to all of you. Today we have assembled here for a very important webinar on very interesting topic, climate change and its consequences. And we have with us, as told, Dr. Ayata Emupriti ji, Principal, Government College, Gangtok, Sikkim; Dr. Muhammad Ayub ji, Principal, Himalayan Degree College, Rajouri, Jammu and Kashmir; Dr. Shashi Sharma, Principal, DAV College, Muzaffarnagar, UP. And this webinar has been organized in collaboration with Center for Environment and Economic Development, New Delhi, and the Space Society of Shivaji College. And as a resource person, we have with us Professor Rai, who is head of the Department of Geography, Delhi University, and Professor Ashutosh Mohanty and Dr. Parvut Kumar Mishra. So I am sure that you will all enjoy this webinar on very important topic. And as you know that we have organized this webinar under the very prestigious scheme of Delhi University, Vidya Vistar scheme, where different colleges which are in remote areas collaborate with the colleges of Delhi University. And we have been associated with 2 colleges. So it's a very proud moment. And naturally, we all will get benefited out of this webinar. My good wishes, best wishes for the success of this function. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please continue.
Thank you so much, sir, for setting the tone for this event with your beautiful words. May I now invite Dr. Ayata Emupriti, Principal of Government College, Gangtok, Sikkim, to grace the event with her kind words. Ma'am, we are pleased to have you amongst us. Is ma'am there?
She is there.
Yeah, ma'am is there.
Audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Dr. Ayata. Please.
Yeah, but from the laptop, I'm unable to unmute myself.
Okay.
So this
Okay.
is I'm doing from the phone.
Okay.
How to do
You are
that? It's not.
co-host. Yeah, you are co-host, ma'am. Okay, please continue.
I'll try once again. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. We can hear you.
Hello. There is some technical glitch. Hello. There is some technical glitch. I'm unable to do the video. So, yeah. Warm greetings to all the participants from Sikkim. I would like to extend my warm greetings and to this program on climate change and its consequence, response, and solution to all the eminent speakers. And first of all, I would like to give my warm gratitude to the principal, Shivaji College, Delhi University, Professor Shiv Kumar Sahdev, and Madam Dr. Sunita Singh, and the convener Vidya Vistar scheme, and to all the participants, to our students who are participating for this very sensitive topic, the topic that you all should be knowing about the things that is happening, and also looking forward to hear the wonderful learning session from Professor Istira, Delhi University, Professor Asutosh Mahanti, Dr. Ghanishyam Sharma, and Dr. Prabodh Mishra. With that, I just want to conclude with one thing. We too have responsibility, and our responsibility is to change our lifestyle and need to be more protective towards Mother Earth. So by that, we all, especially the young generation, can contribute a lot, looking at the erratic climate change that is happening around the world. With that, once again, thanks to Shivaji College for making our college a partner college. So looking forward for a wonderful learning session ahead. Over to you, madam.
Vomika, just a slight announcement. We do have DAV College Principal Muzaffarnagar, Dr. Lalit Kumar with us. So I'll request sir to kindly address for us for a few minutes. Dr. Lalit. Dr. Lalit, you can unmute yourself. You are co-host right now.
Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Hello. Are you listening me?
Yes,
you're audible.
Yes. इस जो वेबिनार है इसकी सक्सेस के लिए मेरी तरफ से शुभकामनाएं. बेस्ट विशेस फॉर दिस वंडरफुल वेबिनार ऑन very recent and important topics, and it is very sensitive issue also. I am highly thankful to this prestigious college, and I am highly thankful to principal sir also. इस जो वेबिनार में हमारा मेन जो टॉपिक है, जो रिसेंट डेवलपमेंट हैं, मुझे उम्मीद है कि इसको सब कवर करेगा. और आईपीसीसी जैसी जो ऑर्गेनाइजिंग संस्थाएं हैं, जो 2021 की रिपोर्ट्स है, उसको सब एलोब्रेशन इसमें होगा, जो हमारे लिए एक बहुत ही चिंता का विषय है, जिसमें हम देख रहे हैं कि लगातार जो टेम्परेचर है अर्थ का वो कंटिन्यूसली इंक्रीज होता जा रहा है, और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग एक बहुत ही बड़ा और बहुत ही सेंसिटिव इशू बन के उभर रहा है. इसमें जो आईपीसीसी की रिपोर्ट्स है 2021 में, उसमें कहा गया है कि जो टेम्परेचर है अगर वो इसी स्पीड से बढ़ता रहा और अगर ये टेम्परेचर 2 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड से ऊपर राइज हुआ तो जो हमारे पास ग्लेशियर मेल्ट होते चले जाएंगे और एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा जो प्राकृतिक आपदाएं हैं और जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं पूरे वर्ल्ड में वो बढ़ती चली जाएंगी. लगातार हम देख रहे हैं कि जो वर्ल्ड के अंदर जो प्राकृतिक आपदाएं हैं उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी लगातार बढ़ती जा रही है, और आईपीसीसी ने चिंता बहुत व्यक्त की है इसके ऊपर कि अगर इसी स्पीड से. हेलो.
यस यस,
आई एम ऑडिबल नाउ.
यस यस.
तो उसके अंदर अगर इसी स्पीड से अगर ये टेम्परेचर हमारा इंक्रीज होता रहा तो आईपीसीसी ने कहा है कि अगर 2 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड से ऊपर राइज हुआ तो जो प्राकृतिक आपदाएं हैं, नेचुरल डिजास्टर्स हैं, उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी और बहुत तेजी के साथ बढ़ेगी और जो ह्यूमैनिटी है उसको बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान होने की संभावना बढ़ेगी. तो मुझे उम्मीद है कि जो ये बहुत सेंसिटिव इशू है जिसके ऊपर ये वेबिनार ऑर्गेनाइज की जा रही है, इसमें इन सभी इशुओं पर डिस्कशन होगा. लेटेस्ट आईपीसीसी की रिपोर्ट है उसको भी डिस्कस किया जाएगा, और देश के और विदेश में जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स हमारी इससे संबंधित हैं उनको सबको मीट आउट किया जाएगा, इस पर डिस्कशन होगा. तो मेरी तरफ से शुभकामनाएं सभी को इस वंडरफुल वेबिनार को ऑर्गेनाइजेशन करने के लिए। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and your kind words. Society for Practical Applications and Development of Economics, SPADE, has demonstrated history of exploring, evaluating, and analyzing the social and economic issues that arise from time to time in today's world, which is transforming itself at a fast pace. SPADE provides a platform, a learning space for students, teachers, and professional experts to think and put forward their ideas as to how these social economic problems could be approached and how we must reconstruct our preconceived notions on such matters. SPADE works on two major projects to achieve this goal: an annual documentary based on socio-economic theme and an annual research magazine named Earth Manthan that contains research papers and articles written by students and teachers. This year, SPADE is working on its 5th edition of Earth Manthan and is going to launch its 4th documentary titled Urja, a megawatt on India's future energy, that captures the prospects and challenges for India to adopt renewable energy for its energy requirements to ensure a sustainable future.
India is cautious about its energy requirements and climate change. It knows the climate change thing is a reality and it is not something just on papers.
You being a human, you are breathing to live. That has a footprint on the environment.
I think we have a small technical glitch here. We seek your patience until we solve the problem. Thank you so much.
For increasing the awareness level of the importance of securing energy, right? To improve energy security and to improve the energy access, India is having a very, very ambitious target of around 450 gigawatt by 2030. This is as per the latest COP26, which happened in Glasgow, London, where Prime Minister Modi has committed of around 450 gigawatt by 2030, which is a very, very ambitious target.
And the system efficiency, if you see industrial systems like turbine, you are running on AC compressors, they takes more power. So in past, the compressor efficiency was low. Now efficiency increasing, and whole system design, material and other design using nanotechnology or modern technologies. Even these days, like auto sensor is there. So those things are reducing actually power consumption.
India is leading across the globe for increasing the awareness level of the importance of securing energy.
As per IEA, International Energy Agency's analysis and modeling, it shows that India's energy generation will be tripled by end of this century. So one aspect is that we have a huge development agenda in front of us.
So current Indian situation like this, in India, we are importing around 80%, 70 to 80% oil, gas from other country. we are not producing enough oil and gas so that we can give that energy to our people to run their everyday life, from your kitchen cooking gas to your road vehicles, aircraft, aerospace, or say spacecraft running your spacecraft, or any vehicle, any movement, or your mobile phone.
We can reduce the toxic pollution of our topsoil and freshwater supply, as well as we should not get hostages by the scarcity of the supply chain of these minerals.
This is just a glimpse of the paramount efforts that have been put up by our members in making this documentary. SPADE will be releasing this documentary very soon. Now I would like to invite Vidhi Saxena, the Vice President of SPADE, to introduce guest speakers of the day and invite them to the spotlight as we all await to hear their knowledgeable insights on various aspects of climate change. Over to you, Vidhi.
Thank you, Vamika. I'm honored to take this opportunity to introduce to you all our speakers for the day who will be sharing their valuable insights on today's agenda. We have with us Dr. Suresh Chandrai, Professor and HOD, Department of Geography, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. Dr. Suresh received his bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degree from Banaras Hindu University. He has had a vast experience of working with numerous renowned institutions and societies in the field of geography, both as a scientist and as an administrator. He has been a part of a number of research projects and has written and reviewed several research articles during this time. Dr. Suresh has many accolades to his name, including a Lifetime Achievement Award from Pluma, Hyderabad in 2019. Honorable Mention Best Paper Award for 1999 from Soil and Water Conservation Society, USA, and many others. We are honored to have you with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. How I can minimize this, because I can share my slide.
Sir, you are co-host. You can share your slide. You can share your slide. You are co-host. You can share your slide.
Okay. Now I'm. कैसे कैसे खुलेगा यार ये तो कहाँ से ये खुलेगा यार, ये तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा है.
So at the bottom, there's a green share screen icon over there, please.
That I this, then insert file, slide show हो गया, review, फिर tell me what, share, just
So you may leave your PPT open, and the moment you share the screen, that will be the option will be there. Dr. Prabhu, do you have Sir's PPT with you? From here we can play.
Ma'am, no, I don't have his PT. Should I ask him to send me?
Yeah, it will be like it will be better, I think. Sir se request kar sakte.
Okay, okay.
Unmuted now, yeah. हेलो, ये इसमें हैं?
Yes, sir, your slide is visible now.
Hello.
Sir, your slide is visible. You can start your presentation.
So my voice is coming?
Yes, yes, yes. You are
Okay,
clear.
thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm thankful to the principal, Shivaji College, for organizing this conference, a seminar on climate change. I'm also thankful to Dr. Prabodh Kumar Misra, who initiated this program, and all other dignitaries and participants. Though I was busy in some important meeting in the university, but I find some time, so just I come here and try to share my few observations in the Himalayan region. So as you know that my topic has already been shared by the organizer, that farmers' perception and climate change adaptation. Because as you know that climate change and global warming, climate variability is a very recent topic, and whole world is facing the severe problem of climate change. So that's why all academia all over the world, they are working in their own region to find the solution of to check the climate variability or to check the global warming. So keeping this in mind, I have selected this topic. So I'm not going to take too much time, but I have to share some my findings with you. So now, as you know that Hindu Kush Himalayan region or Himalayan region is very sensitive to the climate change. And as you know that glaciers are very sensitive to global warming, resulting high rates of glacier retreat and rapid formation of glacial lakes. So every newspaper, every day newspaper or everywhere you are heard about the global warming and its impact on the glacier receding. And IPCC report, just one principal of Muzaffarpur, DAB College, Muzaffarpur Nagar said that the 2021 IPCC report says that if 2 degree centigrade rise, so most of the glaciers will be recede. So this is the problem of the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. As you know that average Earth Surface temperature has increased by about 1.1 degrees centigrade. This is the NASA report in 2017. And disappearing glaciers, snow ice cover areas, and increasing the frequency of glacial hazards are also threatening future water availability due to change in runoff regime. So this is the problem of the Himalayan region. And if you see this slide, this is the distribution of the glaciers in the Himalayan region. So this is the Western Himalaya, this is Central Himalaya, and this is the Eastern Himalaya. So the precipitation amount affect the basic runoff. The precipitation in the Northeast and Central Himalaya is mainly dependent on summer monsoon, while in the Northwest Himalaya, winter precipitation dominates due to western disturbances and cyclonic storms. This is another problem facing the Himalayan region. From 1988 to 2008, the whole Himalayan region has experienced a positive trend of 1 degree and 3.4 degrees centigrade for the minimum and maximum temperature. This is also one of the report. So keeping all these in mind, so I have selected my work in Sikkim Himalaya, which I'm going to share with you. As you know that Sikkim is a very small state of government of India, and the total area of the state is just 7,096 kilometers square, and the altitude range from 200 to 8,586 meter mean sea level. So you can imagine how much altitudinal variation is in such a small state of Himalaya. And the glaciated area is only 12%. Number of glacial lakes is 472. And its whole zone comes on the Indian seismic zone is 4. This is very high. So 43% of the state consists of steep slopes and escarpment, including world third highest mountain peak Kanchenjunga. So this is the silent feature of the Sikkim Himalaya. Now coming to the my topic, the impact of climate change has become very evident in the Himalayan region, and Sikkim Himalaya is not an exception, where climate change is adversely affecting the agriculture and associated ecosystems. A recent study in Himalaya showed that Himalaya has been experiencing increase in mean temperature by 0.6 degrees centigrade to 1.3 degrees centigrade between 1975 and 2006. This is one research report in 2001 published. And change in temperature and precipitation directly affect crop growth, grain yield, and food quality. This is another one study given their findings about the climate change and other things. Now, the mid to high latitude regions shows an increase in crop and pasture yields with moderate increase in temperature, whereas in low latitude and seasonally dry regions, a slight warming would lead to decreasing yields. Therefore, it is important for farmers to have a good understanding about the negative impact of climate change on agricultural system in order to adopt and develop mitigation strategies. So this is very important for the farmers to know whether climate is changing or not, and if they are changing, so how you are going to adopt this change in your day-to-day life. So keeping this in problems in mind, I have framed 3 objectives: the farmer perception of climate change and their precision, then identify local practices as an adaptive strategy, and suggest measure for successful adaptation to climate change. So if you see this farmers' perception of climate change, I have conducted household survey about 300 farmers of the Sikkim Himalaya in different altitudinal zone. to know about their perception, what they perceive about the climate change. So the majority, more than 80% farmers says that increase in temperature as compared to last 10 years. So this is the observation of the farmers in the Sikkim Himalaya. And then decrease in rainfall as compared to last 10 years. So more than about 80% farmers. So they perceive that temperature is increasing and rainfall is decreasing since last 10 years. Then they have also responded that increase of mosquitoes in upland. So as you know that the high altitude area is very safe, but due to increase in temperature, mosquitoes is coming in the high altitude areas. This is one of the indicator of the climate change. Then reduction in crop yields. More than 85%, about 90% farmers responded that due to climate change, crop yield is decreased. Then reduction in water availability. Due to increased temperature and land use, land cover change, what happens, the source of water is reducing, drying. And then negative impact of changing trend of climate. So this is the farmers' perception. They are perceiving that now they are agree that the climate is changing. And they have given their experience about 10 years. Now the people perception of incidence of extreme event over the years. So the extreme event is no and no idea. So if you see this blue line, this is S, and orange line, this is no, and this one is the no idea. So majority of the people, they reported extreme events like hailstorms. So more than 50%, about 50% farmers responded that hailstorms has increased. Then some farmers responded that hailstorms is not increased. Then dry spell. See, there more than 60% responded that dry spell is coming. Then types of extreme events, fog, then earthquake, then landslides, because as you know that the Himalayan region is facing the very serious problem of landslide and land subsidence during rainy season. So these are the extreme events in the Sikkim Himalaya which farmers perceived in their surroundings. Now I'm coming to the IMD data, which I have collected from 1990 to 2015. So this shows that mean annual temperature, and this shows that annual temperature is increasing every year. The data is from 1985 to 2020. So the data which I have predicted here is 1990 to 2016. So now again this rainfall event, annual rainfall. So annual rainfall is precipitation maximum is also increasing, decreasing, but the highest was recorded in 1991. The highest in 1991 and lowest in 2016. So lowest rainfall is recorded in 2016, just 2,226 millimeter, and highest in 1991 is 3,769 millimeter. This is the average annual rainfall. Now, if you see the impact analysis of climate on area under cultivation for West District, which I have taken, how climate change is impacting the production and productivity of the farmers. So 1990 to 2013, two times data I have taken for three different crops, paddy, wheat, and soybean. So if you see this area in hectare and production and productive kg per hectare. So paddy cultivation is in 1990, 1,290 kg per hectare, but it has reduced to, it has increased, productivity has increased in to 1,818 kg per hectare, and the change in area is change is 527.6 kg per hectare. Likewise, wheat, in 1991, the wheat is like 0.0. Wheat is 1,599 kg per hectare, but in 2012 and 13 it has decreased to 1,120. So paddy production has increased, but the wheat production is decreased. Likewise, soybean, it has in 847 kg per hectare, and it has increased to 875 kg per hectare. So in West District, because West District is a very rich in agricultural production. So these are the impact which I have seen in the Sikkim Himalaya. And the other important and very severe situation is the change in snow ice cover area in Sikkim. So 1995, if you see, due to climate change or climate variability in 1995, the area, the total snow covered area was 1,251 kilometer square, means 17.63, 18%.
As well as we should not get hostages by the scarcity of the supply chain.
Hello. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Please continue. Yeah. There was
so in 1995, 17.6% area was snow covered, but due to climate change, climate variability in 2018, what happens? Only 7.4% area is covered with snow cover. So in 23 years, 10% area reduced. So this is the clear-cut impact of the climate change in Sikkim Himalaya. So now I'm coming to the local adaptation measures mentioned by the farmers. As you see this, so drinking water storage shortage. So adaptation measure is installing tank at water sources, planting trees at water sources, traveling a longer distance to fetch water and wash cloth, diverting water from another springs, installing pipe for drinking water, digging deep well, reducing water supply to livestock, taking fewer bath, postponing washing cloth. So this is due to shortage of drinking water, the people adopted all these measures to conserve the water resources. Now, irrigation water shortage, construction water retention ponds, establishing a schedule to turn assessing water, delaying rice planting, reducing the area planted to vegetables and corns, giving up winter crops, adjusting cropping sequences. So for irrigation shortage to conserve the soil water, the farmers are adopting all these measures to conserve the water resources. Now decline in soil fertility, so what they are doing, applying organic manures, digging out terrace ridges and walls and filling in terraces, planting crops according to soil types, using unirrigated upland fields in alternate years. So due to climate change, what happens, the temperature, soil temperature is increasing. So people are using organic manure, and you know that the Sikkim is declared as an organic state. So due to organic manure, the soil moisture will retain. So that's why people are using organic manure to increase, to maintain the soil fertility for better agricultural yield. Now, landslide and flooding. Landslide is a recurring problem in the Himalayan region, in Sikkim Himalaya also, because of high rainfall area. So people are adopting measures are planting trees, erecting stone walls and wire retainers, worshipping the snake god, using sandbags, leveling areas with sediment, deposits and bringing them back into cultivation after applying organic manures. So for landslide check, the people are doing all these adaptive measures. Deforestation and forest degradation, the adaptive measures adopted by the farmer is conserving existing forest and reforesting degraded forest, planting tree along stream banks and on the edge of fields, traveling further to forest products for fuel, wood, fodder, leaf, litter, and forage, reducing livestock numbers because of lack of forest, planting tree on the privately owned land, planting fodder trees on terraces, rise and edges of the field, practicing community forestry. So for deforestation, so people are doing all these practices to intact their forest. Now decline in crop yield, so they are using hybrid seeds, using chemicals for disease and pest control, because as you know that in hilly area the disease are very dangerous to the agricultural crops. So people are using traditional method for pest and disease control, introducing winter crops, increasing the area under cereals. So these are the measures they are taking. Now, poor livestock health because of disease and parasites, so buying medicine, consulting veterinary doctors, providing good feed to animals, applying traditional treatments, vaccinating goats for PPR, pest, ruminants, and the last is delaying pregnancies in cattle, goat, and buffalo, simply keeping animal for an extended time, hoping for pregnancies, administering medicine, using traditional local remedies, selling goats and buffalo for slaughter. So these are the important adaptive measures adopted by the local people to adjust with the climate change. And one other thing I have asked to the farmers during my field visit, how you perceive that climate is changing. So they told me the very best example they have cited me. One example is Thysolina maxima. The Thysolina maxima, जो broom grass, ये जो आप घरों में झाड़ू लगाते हैं, this is called the broom grass. So broom grass is very good for soil binder. So, and this crop is grown only below 1000 meter mean sea level. But due to climate change, this broom grass is now going to upper side. They are cultivating up to 1500, 1600, 1800 meter altitude. So this is one indicator of this climate perception of the local people. And other they have given that the large cardamom is the very large amount. The Sikkim people are growing large cardamom, and country 80% large cardamom is grown by the Sikkimese people. So due to climate change, the large cardamom is going in higher altitude. So these are the indicators of the climate change, and farmers are perceiving very well, and they are doing all these adaptation measures to combat the climate change. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my work.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge on the subject with us. Moving ahead, we have with us Professor Ashutosh Mohanty. We have with us Professor Ashutosh Mohanty, Dean Research Director, International Relations, Faculty of Science and Technology, Madhyanchal Professional University, and Center of Excellence in Disaster Management and Environment. He is an international researcher, professor, mentor, practitioner with 19 years of academic and professional experience in more than 15 countries in different capacities in the fields of holistic disaster risk management, climate change, resilience strategies, strategic hazard mapping, and response program development, and many more such topics. We are glad to have you with us. Over to you, sir. Sir, you are on mute.
Professor Asutosh, you can start. You can unmute yourself and you can start your talk.
Okay, good afternoon to all of dignitaries over there, and Professor Principal Shivaji College, Mr. Prabodji, and other delegates, dignitaries over there, and students. It is my privilege, like I have been here, and I work for almost like 15 countries in the Hindu Kush and also the Hindu Kush Himalaya. So it is very privileged for me to share some of my experience that I have been working. Also, I could share like 2 of my projects ongoing in the Hindu Kush Himalaya. So I could also share all of this because some of the projects, maybe I could take some of the students from the Shivaji College and Delhi University, because we are collaborating with a number of partners from Delhi University. So I have to first introduce some of the briefing about the Hindu Kush Himalaya, because my previous professor has been already discussed various, many things that I have been working and doing the research on the Himalaya. So you can see in this map, there are a number of, like more than 8 countries in the Hindu Kush Himalaya. Those we cover in our research. Then we have certain, studies we conduct. One is a water, then is agriculture. Second is the various aspects with the extreme winds in the Hindu Kush Himalaya. So these are the major regions. Even we have studied various erotic conditions over the last 3 decades, 30 years, that have been presenting, and what is the consequences on various agriculture impacts. That already Sir has well, Rai Sir already defined about the one aspects of the climatic condition in the Hindu Kush Himalaya. So these are the the shaded area is mostly we have covered the Hindu Kush Himalaya, that India, Nepal, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and China. These are the areas we cover in our study. Why it is important? We have to know that, because our most of the listeners are there very interested on the Hindu Kush Himalaya, because my presenter has been already discussed about the various impact and aspects and the measures of adaptations. So I could little bit share all these things, because I work all 8 countries, Nepal, China, Nepal. I was a scientist for the EC mode for more than 4 years with their 3 university, one university. I was teach and I work with these people. Then we have all the agriculture universities from the Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, China. So we work with several projects. So that is why I'm telling that, because this Hindu Kush Himalaya is very important for us, because it is considered as a global water hub, as well as we consider 3rd pole. And also in that recent study, we can say the water tower of Asia, because major rivers, the 10 major rivers that rooted and emerged from the Himalaya, that is very important. The Ganges, Brahmaputra, and this all, the Indus that I've been working last 3 decades in different parameter on research, all river, on the glacier study, as well as the river hydrology. So we work on 2 parameters, and we study as various impact, how it has been very issues and challenges in this whole Hindu Kush Himalaya. So then we see in our study, 30% of glacier has been receded last 3 decades. As per the EC mode, you might know a major center of research, that International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, that is located in Himalaya, and India is also a partner of that. So in that 2019 report, they said last 3 decades, the 30% glaciers has been receded. So it has a big challenge for the future, because if there is a glacier then melt, then there is no water. So we have to see how we could, we see this challenge, and what are the adaptable measures we have to see. Then we have to see this area, the Hindu Himalaya is the very densely populated area. 1.3 billion people, mostly directly their livelihood, their industry, everything depends upon this Himalaya, that water. And then we can say about the Hindu Himalaya, that provides also the fresh water for the for life, as well as the agriculture, for energy needs, all these things. Then for our study from the Hindu Himalaya, we cover 3,005 kilometers from Tibet to Karakoram, that whole that belt called the Hindu Himalaya. So we study all the region, and even the water. Then we have to see what are the glacier impacts, what are the areas the glacier retreat, and where there some glacier and melt. We have all the records. So under my study, we have actually given 12 scholarship to our students, basically PhD students, to study each country. Like every country we have provided, like Afghanistan, we have 3 students, Nepal, we have 3 students, even we have students from Pakistan, we have students from Bangladesh. So we provide scholarship to study, all this. Then we have collected all the information, and we share with the EC mode with a, then we have analyzed what are the changes, and how the water quality, even this water contamination, all the aspects we have studied. So in our study, because when we talk more about the Hindu Himalaya, there is a lot of things we see that has been changes. Because the glacier, one of the aspects, then we have studies, there is a we see the water volume of water has been reduced drastically many part of the Karakoram region of Pakistan. That in our study we find. So even the groundwater also, that has 3 river basin we have study. One is Indus, then Brahmaputra, then Ganges. 3 river basin under our study. We see there are a number of areas the water has been polluted, and many areas there's that the water ground water level also table also receded. So we have see some kind of study and how it could be reduced, and what are the things that main things that for the water contamination and the water pollutions. So under my program, under the H2O program, that Highland to Ocean, under that program we are providing some kind of study. Which country mostly provides contaminate the water levels. Basically 2 countries we see in our study. One is China and then is India, but we cannot officially disclose all the things, because there is some kind of we have some kind of guidelines that we have to manage, and in future we bring some kind of study, so that in our that issues could be properly addressed. So in our study, we find there is a number of disaster has been increased whole Hindu Himalaya, from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan. We see there is a more than even 70 to 80% of glaciers has been there is a number of cloud bursts, globs has been increased, because we have find more than 5,000 glacier that has been recorded in all on Hindu Himalaya region. And there are number of in that subsequent years we see the globs has been increased, and avalanche also increased. So we see in the newspaper, even 3 months back, we see there has more than 30 to 40 of our soldiers has been died because of the avalanche. It is because of the temperature rise in that whole Hindu Himalaya, and we are the people, we are the basically there are growth of industries, and we have caught our that trees that located in the Hindu Himalaya. That is the one of the issues and challenges, because even we in our study we have lot of avenues to study, because one of the things like climate change impact on agriculture has been one yield, because there is a low yield in various part of Hindu Himalaya. There is then we have a scarcity of water. There is a project called Too Much Water and Too Little Water. That project under my supervision, I have lead 3 years under $2.5 million US. So we, under the program, we have given some kind of, distributed the fund among the countries, all 8 countries, and then community leaders. So community leaders, they decide themselves where and how they could contribute, what are the measures they can take. They have traditional technology as well as they can bring some of the sensor-based technology but to study about the water volume, water levels, and the water contamination, everything they study on that parameters. So we, in our program, we have given supports to and technical trainings, and also we trained the coastal communities, even the students from that area to. These are the things we provide in our program. So in our program, we have said, given some kind of solutions like ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction, because we see we have to live in that area. We cannot live. We cannot, destroy all this, climatic condition that have been we suffer because of our own issues, own challenges. So in that way, we are giving support to the plantation. We are giving some kind of hydropowers, small irrigation system, even some of the watershed management program we supporting under our research and funding program. So these are some of the case studies we have taken in our project. Some of the, we have taken some of the hydropower plants as well as some micro project, like energy, how you provides water to both way, like agriculture purpose, then under the watershed, then we can make small like micro hydropower plants to provide the energy to the people that lives in that riparian sites of that Sikkim Himalaya, particularly Ganges, Brahmaputra, and Indus. The 3 river basin basically we covered in our program. So in that program, we provide how various technical measures to that provide under our scholarship program. Even we giving small micro funding like $20,000 for each communities and people those who are living. So they under that program small micro irrigation. Then we have micro hydropower plants we planted, and then we provide giving 2-way solution. One is they can adapt, they can know the situation, they best use of their water resources, as well as they can use best use of their water for their agriculture purpose. These are the things, adapters measures under our program we have taken, and we find in our program. So how in the long run for future, how we manage these water resources, that is very important. So we have trained the people and we have given some kind of measures. One of the measures like because under this Too Much and Too Little Water program, we provide solar, there is some kind of solar cooker provided to each communities in the, this is a picture of the Nepal. So we provide more than 30 to 40 solar like cookers to for their energy needs, for their cooking, water boiling, because these areas very much cold, and these areas because of erratic condition, and there is number of like the climatic variability, there is the people are facing a lot of challenges. So we provide there a lot of solution how they can manage, they can boil the water, they can for their energy needs, we can provide small irrigation that I shown in that last pictures. These are the things we, in our program we provide. Even we have solution for agriculture. We provide some technical knowledge, know-how that we have the best practices from the 3 countries. We have trained people. We bring farmers from the from the China. We have from Nepal and Bhutan. We brings and this the exchange of their knowledge. So these are where we bring some kind of solution among the farmers as well as the communities. In the future, long run, they can make some kind of own solution for their own issues due to the climate change. So these are the things we have studied, and we find it could be properly replicable, applicable for the whole Sikkim Himalaya. So these are the things. Then we have some kind of other things like we have mainstreaming DR into climate change policy backing. So we provide some kind of inputs to our both all the 8 countries, the government. So whatever the knowledge we gain from the different countries in our program, we share. then under our research program. So that program they can replicate and imply in that research and particularly policy making, they can resolve their issues and challenges in the long run. These are the things under our program because there is many things. So we have more than 30 to 40 international publications. So we can share with our students all these publications, how they can use and they can reference them for their PhD thesis and master's thesis. If some of the students interested, we could take in our projects, because under my more than 2 to 3 projects, and one is projected climate change impact on the highland Himalaya and the river basin. So H2O program. So that program just recently we have started and we got some volume of money. So we will bring some of the PhD scholarship under our program. We could provide that scholarship to our young scholars. They can do their research work in the coming days. So these are the things, and the solution and our adaptation mechanism on our projects that has been, we can share because the time very short. So we see how it could be properly replicated and the mitigation measures. There are a lot of publications we have. So we can share among the all 8 countries, not only India. We have all the 8 countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, China, Bangladesh. We have several best practices also on the climate change and river basin. So we have to have some kind of coherence approach. We have to have some, all the countries could work together so that in future challenge we properly mitigate and adapt. That's all about my presentation, because we have given a very short time so that I could cover all my research work. Other things we could share in my my publications and our work that has been doing all the Hindu Kush Himalaya. Thanks a lot to all the listeners.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Vidhi.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I believe we all gained a lot of new insights from your session. Coming up next, we have Dr. Ghanshyam Sharma, who is currently the Program Manager and Head at the Mountain Institute India, based in Gangtok. Dr. Sharma has more than 25 years of professional experience in community-based biodiversity conservation, mountain agrobiodiversity, ecosystem services, climate change adaptation, traditional farming systems, and livelihoods. He has published over 2.5 dozen research papers in peer-reviewed journals with high impact factors and 2 dozens of book chapters in internationally published books of high repute. He is also a nominated member of the Sikkim Biodiversity Board, Sikkim State Wildlife Board, Sikkim Environment Appraisal Committee, Sikkim State Innovation Council, and State Steering Committee member of the Compensatory. From time to time, Dr. Sharma has been appointed as an international consultant by various national and international organizations such as the United National University, Japan International Cooperation Agency, implementing and evaluating national and internationally funded projects. We are over to you, sir. So are we audible to you?
I think sir is not co-host. Can someone make him co-host? Yes. Yes.
Hello, namaste.
Namaste, namaste, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a little bit of confusion here. So, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to give a presentation today. And I have worked in the Sikkim Himalaya for the last 25 years. I am a son of a farmer and observed about the impacts of climate change in the Sikkim Himalaya, especially on traditional farming systems and also in forest ecosystems. I was a part of a project called High Aware that was started by the International Center for Integrated Mountain Development. The High Aware is Himalayan adaptation, water and resilience, research on glacier and snowpack dependent river basins. That is one of the 4 consortia of collaborative adaptation research initiative in Africa and Asia. And we conducted a high caliber research and pilot activities in the Tista River basins. That was also included capacity building and policy engagement on climate resilience and adaptation in the mountains and floodplains of Indus, Ganges, and Brahmaputra river basin. And Tista River was one of the tributaries of Brahmaputra. Therefore, it was included in the project. Under the highway project, there were operational and strategic partner of the project. We selected 3 different study sites. That was one was high elevation study site in North Sikkim, Lachen, Thangu, that is 4,300 meter elevation, and also Muguthang, which is a very, very difficult area to move to. Then in the mid elevation, we selected mid hill areas, Pandam, Gram Panchayat unit, Singtam town, and in South Sikkim, Mallidana, West Sikkim, Himarta, and also in mid elevation in West Bengal, we conducted research on Kalimpong district. And in the floodplains, that is in West Bengal, low elevation area, we conducted research on climate change issues in Jalpaiguri district. And this research was also conducted in Rampur district of Bangladesh. So the main intention to conduct this research was to generate science-based knowledge on biophysical, socioeconomic, gender, and governance conditions and drivers leading to vulnerability to climate change. This is very, very sensitive because climate change is impacting one and all, and we try to understand how people are perceiving the impact of climate change. As I was listening to the presentation of Professor Rai, he was also talking about the perception of people on climate change. Another important objective of the project was to create robust evidence and improved understanding of the potential of adaptation approaches and practices. And the last one was to develop stakeholder-driven and gender-inclusive adaptation pathways. So the methodology we adopted was mainly the focus group discussion and observation in the field, and also some scientific approaches on research about climate change in the field. When we consider Sikkim Himalaya, in fact, which also covers the mid-hill areas and high altitude areas of the project, there are 3 communities, Nepali, Lepcha, and Bhutia. So Nepali, they are inhabited in tropical to subtropical and warm temperate zones. Lepcha, mostly subtropical to temperate and alpine zones. And Bhutia, they are inhabited in high altitude areas. Agriculture profile is very unique because ours is one of the 22 agro-biodiversity hotspots of India. Net cultivable area is 79,000 hectares, but we have now less than this area under cultivation. Most of the area, many of the areas are now converted into hydropower projects, pharmaceutical, and other industries. Agriculture is totally rain-fed, and we have a unique agroecological zone ranging from around 300 to 5,000 meter elevations. Sikkim is a unique state in India because it has high repository of biodiversity. So when we consider agriculture systems, pastoralism, agro-pastoralism in the high altitude areas within 4,000 to 5,500 meter elevations, when we consider agriculture in the below this elevation, mixed farming, which is subsistence agriculture in the temperature 2,500 to 4,000 meter elevations. Then within these areas, traditional agroforestry systems, we have a diversity of traditional agroforestry system, including farm-based, forest-based, large cardamom-based agroforestry systems. Then we have a terrace-based agroforestry systems and paddy cultivation systems. So you can see this diversity of land uses and land use types in Sikkim, which is very, very unique. And I think it is one of the beautiful sites and one of the beautiful and elegantly or intelligently managed slope land into production zones. So we have a diversity of underutilized crops, cereals, lesser known crops, a diversity of wild edibles in different altitudinal zones. You can see the steep slopes where the agriculture is practiced in Sikkim. This is very, very unique. You know, the steep slopes are converted into productive zones by our farmers. So this is one of the most important and maybe accepted engineering that is adopted by our farmers since time immemorial for agriculture system. There are, you know, underutilized crops such as buckwheat cultivation, tite fapar and meete fapar. There are two different types of buckwheat cultivation, which has high nutrition value. And then, you know, the corn is also cultivated right from the low elevations to high elevation. When we consider, you know, the mountain agriculture systems, it has several components within it, starting from the traditional knowledge practices, then institutions, formal and informal institutions, because mountain agriculture system is primarily a family farming system, which was earlier a cash-less system, but now it has become a cash-based system because people have started organic agriculture. Organic is, in fact, a foreign concept, but ours was already organic by default because traditional agriculture system do not use any organic, inorganic pesticides or inorganic fertilizer. For a brief time during the 70s, people used fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, but after that they stopped using it because that was not accepted for the farmers. And then, you know, education, science and research, business market, production systems, plants and animal species, the diversity of plants and animal species in the agriculture systems. With respect to, you know, in one of the researches that we have carried out recently, we found that the plants and animal species diversity is very high in the mountain agricultural systems than the adjacent forest areas. So higher genetic resources, best soil and water management systems, good nutrient management system, disease control, control of invasive species, pollination, and so on. So I'm not going to talk more about this temperature in Gento, which is rising, and the temperature fluctuations because it is dealt by earlier speakers. Now let me go to the summary of what we have done. You know, in the higher elevations, that is starting from 3,000 to 4,500 meter elevations, the temperature warmness is increasing. You know, see the table: April, May, June, July. The warmness is increasing, coldness is also increasing because extreme cold is happening this year. You can see, you know, the heavy snowfall happening even lower than the earlier areas, you know, the low altitude areas as well. So rainfall pattern is unpredictable, high intensity of rainfall within short duration of time. This is the rainstorms happening during the rainy season, wind storms happening during the during May, March, April, May, and also during October, November, which was not there earlier. It was not happening earlier. And hailstorms happening during March, April, and May. All these things. In fact, snowfall is unpredictable. Sometimes heavy snowfall happening. Sometimes no snowfall. Drought and dry period. Most part of the year, March, April, and May in some areas, and in some areas, there's snowfall happening. Water scarcity is happening. It is increasing. Forest fire events are increasing. Thunderstorms are increasing. So these are the observations, people have seen over the past 20, 25 years, 30 years. When we talk about the people inhabited in these high altitude areas, is the Dokpas. They are the original inhabitants there, Lachungpas, Lachinpas, and the Dokpas. They herd sheep, yak, and Pasmina goats. Their population has declined over the years because their rotational grazing area is decreasing. New children are migrating to other parts for lucrative jobs. Their children are in the schools, and they are no more going back to their farming systems. So when we see the dynamic pastoralism in northeast and west Sikkim in the high altitude areas, the pastoralism, rotational pastoralism is decreased over the years because the animals are decreasing, number of and in fact the agriculture systems, that the cultivation of medicinal plants and other resources is also declined over the years because of this. So the adaptation that they have started is the rotational grazing. It's a kind of nomadic grazing happening from one area to another area based on the availability of fodder. So now the Dokwas have no option to accept and wait and watch till the last yak and sheep dies from the impact of climate change. This is very, very serious, as we see in the Sikkim Himalaya. And during 2019, around 1,000 yaks died in Muguthang area because of heavy snowfall and the non-availability of feed for yaks. So this is very, very intense situation that is happening. Look at this picture, the Thangu area where the cultivation happens during the monsoon season, and during winters, the entire area is covered by snow. Another very interesting, but then very alarming situation is the retreating glaciers, as discussed by the earlier speakers as well. Gochala Peak, Jemu Glacier, all these glaciers are receding very fast. One of our students worked on receding glaciers, and you can see the mountain peak, the snow-capped mountain with the moon there. This is very beautiful. But then now, if we ask people what is happening in the mountain areas, in the snow-capped mountains, they say, no, there is no snow. The snow has melted already. This is what they say. So we are losing our snow. But then at the same time, gulf is happening. The floods are happening on the rivers, and it's going to degrade forest areas and wash away agricultural lands, and some casualties happening downstream. So this is also very alarming. Coming a little down from high altitude areas, traditional farming at Lachung and Lachung. This is Lachung Valley. When we consider, the high altitude areas, the fruits, the Lachung apple, it has declined already. You don't find apples in Lachung and Lachung now. When we come a little down from there, then Cardamom, the second picture at the right top. Cardamom has declined already. I worked on Cardamom for the last 25 years. I was a research assistant working on biogeochemical cycling of nutrients on last Cardamom. I've written papers on package of practices and handbook on large cardamom cultivation. But alas, it's very difficult to revive cardamom now. It can't continue, more than 10 years of cultivation. And then in the low altitudes, you don't find, fruits and vegetables because of the impact of climate change, because the timely rainfall is not happening, intense rainfall is happening. If you consider, the subsistence agriculture in temperate zones, the potato cultivation, the productivity has declined in Rift Valley area, some other hilly areas, also in Gorkhe area, in forest villages of West Bengal. So these are the impacts of climate change. Coming little down to 1500 to 2500 meter elevation. Here also the temperature, hotness and coldness, both are increasing. Rainfall pattern, the high intensity during July, August, and then there's no rain during March, April, and May. But fortunately, this year we could get some rain during February. Hailstorms, unpredictable, any time of the year, it's happening. Rainstorms happening during August, September, and October, and causing a lot of damage to crops. And windstorms, that is also happening during the harvest times, or also during the time of sowing of seeds. Other hazards, drought, landslides everywhere, even during winters, landslide happening. This time, because when there was rain, there was landslide happening in Darjeeling area. Water scarcity throughout the year now. Of course, there's no water scarcity during the monsoon, but then in other months, there's a scarcity of water in South Sikkim, some parts of West Sikkim, and also in East Sikkim. And we are losing our springs day by day because of the unpredictable rainfall pattern, uniform rainfall pattern. Forest fire is increasing, and people have perceived increased thunderstorms around the year. Then, it's very difficult for farmers to cope up with climate stresses, because we have limited adaptation measures in the mountains, particularly in agriculture, home gardening, horticulture, livestock and fisheries, and also tourism, because when there is excessive rainfall, it causes landslides, and the communication, transport and communication is disturbed. So market and then business is stopped because of the excessive rainfall. When we consider agriculture, livestock husbandry is one of the prominent components of integrated farming system. But now, because agriculture is no more a lucrative job, there is a dearth of drought animals, the draft animals that is used, the auction used for making agriculture practices. So in the villages, because over the past 2 to 3 months, I've been working in the field, in the farms, and I have realized that the oxen, the draft animals are no more there in the villages. People go for lucrative jobs in the cities and mountains, so cities and towns, and there's a migration happening. The young farming communities are migrating to cities, and they are working in the companies. So this is also happening in the villages. If you consider, the impact of climate change, there are some indicators. If you consider cereals and pulses, the traditional varieties of rice has disappeared. Kanchi ate, kale tulasi, thulo ate, ghaiya dhan, all these local varieties of rice have already disappeared from the system. And now high-yielding varieties have come. But then these high-yielding varieties are no more accepted by the farmers, because they can't preserve, they can't store them for a long period of time. As you see, as I said, the glass cardamom is also has also declined. More than 70% of the large cardamom plantation has declined over the years. Ginger, you can no more cultivate ginger because it has rhizome rot and all other diseases in it. Then chayote, even chayote, which is a multi-purpose crop. It is a vegetable. You can use the shoot. You can eat the root, and also the stem. But then there are diseases in it. Broom grass as one of the adaptation options, but then there are diseases coming up even in broom grass. Orange, all the orchards of orange in different parts of Sikkim have declined because of viral diseases. Similarly, fodder species, even in fodder species, the profusely branching fodder species have now reduced their productivity over the years. And there are common grasses, the common grass used as fodder are also declined. And on top of this, there are emergence of the invasive species such as Lantana camera or the Michaelia micrantha. So I was talking about springs. We have studied springs over the past 12 to 15 years, and we have been working on reviving springs in the mountain areas using geohydrology as a scientific tool to address the scarcity of water, and adapting some technology such as staggered trenches, diversion canals, and water storage structures, or ecosystem reconstruction by planting new species in these areas. But then because there's no uniform rainfall pattern, some of these springs are still declining in the areas where we are working. In fact, the springs are the immediate water sources for drinking purposes and also for agriculture. But when we lose the springs from our system, then we cannot continue with agriculture, the vegetable cultivation, the cereal cultivation, or cultivation of medicinal plants. Very unique to Sikkim traditional agriculture system. Some invasive species such as this giant African snail, Achatina fulica, has come to our gardens now, and it is eating up everything, mostly the cucurbits or other climbers, and even the corn plants, eating up and destroying the plants. So I was talking about the invasives. Mycenia micrantha, it has covered almost all the agroforestry systems. Then Azeritina adenophora, we call it bun mara because ये बन को मारता है, इसलिए इसको बनमारा कहा जाता है. Then Lantana camera, everywhere in the farms and also in the forest areas. So, and then another invasive is the earthworm in the paddy fields, and making holes everywhere. So we are losing water from the paddy fields during the paddy season. This is another very, very important but undesirable situation that is happening in the farms for the farmers. Then when we come to the lower elevation, that is 150 to 700 meter elevations, lot of things, hotness, extreme hot situations, and no coldness, no cold days, even during the winters. Rainfall unpredictable. Hailstorms also unpredictable and very high. Windstorms coming up, different seasons, mostly in the harvest seasons. Drought, yes, during March, April, May, and June. Water scarcity, very much, even during June, July, August, and September. Why? Because the river water is no more usable. It is, it is not a potable water because of pollution happening in the high mountain areas, mostly in the upstreams of River Tista. There are pharmaceuticals, there are hydropower projects, there are other companies established all along the river valleys. So the water is no more potable. And there is a scarcity of drinking water because of flood happening in the floodplains, higher intensity of flood, and migration of people, and casualties happening in the floodplains. Forest fire also happening in the lower elevations, higher intensity of thunderstorms happening in the lower elevations. So because of flood, they cannot utilize the agricultural cultivable land during the monsoon season. So it is unpredictable agriculture that is in the Jalpaiguri district or all along the Tista River basin. So when we interviewed the fishermen, they say the number of fishes has declined, and there's no more fish breeding happening in the rivers in the Indian side. And there used to be fish coming from the Bangladesh side of Chista River to Indian side for breeding, but then that is not happening. The sizes of the fishes have gone down dramatically. So this is also an alarming situation. You can see this picture, lychee cultivation in the floodplains. They try everyone, all kinds of crops cultivating along the river banks. But then, because of extreme heat or because of extreme flooding situation, they cannot continue with the cultivation practices. So this is very, very alarming. So this is a summary of the result. Perceived shift in phenology, upward migration of species, declining of spring water, prolonged dry spells, shift of crop seasons, or shift of nomadic pastoral movements, emergence of pests, diseases in agroforestry crops, mostly cereal crops, vegetable crops, increased flash floods, avalanches also, and even the landslides, erratic rainfall, snowfall, and hailstorm. These events are happening all along the elevations, the altitudinal transects. So all the communities, Nepali community, the Bhutia community, the Lepcha community, or even the Bengali community, they have observed that there's a tremendous impact of climate change happening in the cultivated systems and also on human health. So this is very, very alarming situation happening in the Sikkim Himalaya. There is a soil agriculture land erosion happening due to torrential rain, shrinkage and fragmentation of pasture, or degradation of pasture health in high altitude areas, decreasing water availability in pastures, or skin diseases in yak and sheep in high altitude areas. And there's no as such any adaptive measures that can be applied to overcome these very difficult situations. But then as an action for mitigating climate change impacts, the government of Sikkim has initiated a few initiatives. One is banned complete use of chemical fertilizer from 2014, and Sikkim has become fully organic in 2016. We received immense criticism because there was drastic decrease in crop production, increased incidence of pest attack. But then now people have realized, and they are using biopesticides. They are producing manures, biomanures and all. We incurred economic loss, but our people supported this move for the sake of providing food security and making agriculture more environment friendly. Sikkim has emerged as a model state where it has been able to change the mindset, at least for its people. And this is, in fact, the organic agriculture is an initiative, and it has been included and integrated into the traditional farming systems of Sikkim. And to support this organic movement, we are documenting agricultural biodiversity, huge repository of agricultural biodiversity in Sikkim all along the altitudinal transects, establishment of seed banks of traditional land races and folk varieties, promotion of cultivation of traditional land races, and we are promoting agroforestry systems all along the cultivated systems. So as a conclusion, let me go back to the Veda, and I will recite Harihi Om Madhu Bhata Ritayate Madhu Charanti Sindhavaha Madhvernaha Santoshadhe. Environment provides bliss to people, leading their life perfectly. Rivers bless us with sacred water and provide us health, night, morning vegetation. Sun bless us with peaceful life. Our cow provides us milk. So, in fact, all these happenings, what is now become a very difficult situation, is described in the Vedas. We have to minimize our requirements and maximize our contributions to our people, which is very, very important. just to talk about climate change in the international fora or a webinar like this is nothing, which is simply a talk. But I think we have to contribute something to our people, and which will be very much useful. So thank you very much, Dr. Prabodji. Prestigious webinar. Thank you very much. And this is the end of my presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a question for you in the chat box.
Okay.
What are the reasons for more frequent El Nino in India with flooding instead of severe droughts?
Sorry, please repeat the question.
What are the reasons for more frequent El Nino in India with flooding instead of severe droughts?
Okay. I have no answer to El Nino because I have not worked on this. Blood flooding, yes, because of erratic rainfall pattern, unpredictable and high intensity rainfall pattern within a short period of time is one of the reasons. Another is the alarming situation of receding glaciers, making the lakes are formed because of the glacier recede, and they break up anytime, and the flooding happens in the downstream. But about El Nino, I have no idea about this.
Okay, thank you, sir. There is one more question. What initiatives can be taken on the student end?
Okay, yeah. Students should be proactive. You go back to your villages. If you are in the cities, go to the villages, work with the farmers, help them, because ultimately you need food on your plate, without which you cannot live your life. Go to the villages, work with the farmers, and get yourself experienced what they are facing, even if it is a climate change issue or an issue on productivity, whatever it is. I would suggest everyone should go to the farms and work there and produce something for yourself and for others. This is what I would say, because you have a lot of things. You have a computer, you have a mobile phone, you can do whatever online. Everything is possible online, but only this farming system cannot be done online. You should go to the field and work with the farmers. This is what I can say. You can do everything even from a farm. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights on the subject. And last but not the least, we have with us Dr. Prabhat Mishra, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Shivaji College. Dr. Prabhat Mishra has more than a decade of experience in research, teaching, and administration with several reputed organizations such as Indira Gandhi National Open University, NCRT, National Institute of Disaster Management, and many other academic and research institutions. He has written numerous research articles for renowned journals based in written a book titled Traditional Ecological Knowledge in Himalayas, which was published in 2015. Dr. Prabhat is also the convener of SPADE and chief editor of Earth Manthan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vidhi, for the invitation. And let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Okay. So thank you everyone for giving me this platform to speak on this climate change issues. So my topic of discussion will be a little different from the earlier speakers, as their experience is research-based. They have worked in the field with empirical data with the communities. So their experience is different, though I have also worked in the field, but I thought, let me take a different perspective. So I'm not going to discuss here the outcome of any particular study which have been conducted in any study area, but I have taken references from different documents and UN sources, and I have tried to compile that what youth should do. enough has been said and enough has been documented about the impact of climate change and how it is impacting our ecosystem services, our habitat, our food security, our knowledge system. Everything is well documented, but still we have lots more, what things are missing which have been which has to be identified, properly documented, and the future projections has to be taken into consideration, that what is going to happen after 30 years down the line, 50 years down the line. So my presentation is this is the outline of my presentation. So I will basically focus on the way forward, key actions, because the initial things has already been covered by our previous speakers, and in a very nice manner they have presented the outcomes, the impacts, and everything. So I will be very brief in my presentations. Time is also running short. So this is my outline of the presentation. And see, it has been already said that climate change is one of the most critical global threat to our society, and it is no one on the earth's surface is untouched, whether it's movable, immovable. All the societies, whether it's rich, whether it's poor, whether it's a developing society or developed nations, whether if we talk about the ecosystem by mountain, we have a talk, last 3 talk on mountain ecosystem, but we have to consider that all the other ecosystem, whether it's aquatic, wetland, agriculture ecosystem, all are equally under great threat, right? And climate change is not only affected the ecosystem, but it has also affected our economic and social threats of the society, right? So in this context, we have to understand that things are changing at a very faster rate. Our life is at stake, and it's a very high time we have to work, we have to start working to protect our nature, right? So see, is there a really global climate crisis? Still so many people, even sometimes I discuss in my class, many students at grad level are not aware or not very much well versed with the idea of climate change and how it is impacting our nature, how it is impacting our world. So these are the few parameters you can see: water, biodiversity, forests are declining, land. This land degradation neutrality concept has been introduced recently in COP25. Glaciers are melting, as stated by all the 3 speakers. And I will give you one example. There is a mountain called Mountain Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro in African highland, Western African highland, where 20 years back, you could get thick ice caps, right? And you will be surprised that this Mount Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro, they lie on the equator, on equatorial line, right? But in last 20 years, all the ice caps have been disappeared. So see how fast this ecosystem and how fast the things are changing. So now we have to conserve all those ice caps, because you know that what kind of ecosystem services, what kinds of goods they are providing to us, right? Then pollution is another issue. Even in Delhi and most of the cities, urban cities, is more intense. If we talk about coastal and marine areas, land, water, seawater intrusion, coral bleach, and lots of issues like in the what you can say, Chilka Lake and wetland and lagoons are also impacting at a very larger scale. It has been already discussed about the disasters. They are also increasing in intensity as well as in frequency. Energy crisis, already our students have come out with a documentary they are shooting, that how this energy is day by day is becoming a very problematic agenda. The need of energy to run our society, to run our economic activities are increasing day by day. So managing renewable energy sources are very important. And urbanization, urban heat island, urban flooding, lots of issues are now these urban areas are facing. As you know, around 50% of the population of the world now resides in urban area. So it's a matter of urgency. And apart from this, all the flora, fauna, all are under great threat. We have lost, as per a report, we have lost in area of Puerto Rico in last 1 year. Brazil Space Agency has come out with a report that in last 1 year during pandemic, we have lost an area of Puerto Rico in Amazon rainforest. So see the rate. So it is very alarming. And see, everyone is doing their job, but here my call is for the students. My call is for the youth. What is going to be your role? And now we have to understand our citizenship value, our responsibilities, because majority of the population of the world is youth. And until and unless we are going to realize the importance of nature conservation or the importance of sustainability, nothing is going to happen. We cannot leave our responsibility to government, that government, non-governmental organization or someone will do it. No, that we have to shed that approach. We have to take initiative at grassroots level, so that each and everyone comes with small their contribution. As Dr. Ghanshyam Sharma said, go to the field and start working in the farmland wherever it is possible. I know it's not possible, it's very much possible, but not attract lots of students or not attract lots of the people that they can go back and they can contribute to their farmlands. But still you have to start thinking and try to make time, try to make effort to be with the rural people, because food security, nutrition security is the utmost thing. We cannot live only with money. We need fish, we need cereals for survival, right? So, and this is a report by United Nations Environmental Program, Joint Framework Initiatives, and lots of UN agencies are working, and they have come out with various sets of data, and they say that without youth, we are not going to we are not going to lower down this problem of climate change, the negative impacts of the climate change, right? So next, see, these are few facts which I want to share with the audience. Like social impact assessment, we till now our focus is on environment and economic activities, or how our economy is getting down, how our environment is getting affected. But at the same time, now we have to change our lens, and we have to show that what kind of impact is being perceived on our society, right? So that can be done under with the help of social impact assessment and this nature deficit disorder. This is a new concept, and you will be surprised to know that in these 2 years, these two pandemic years, since 2020, 21, 22, it has been observed that this nature deficit disorders have increased manifold in the youth of urban areas, not in the rural areas, because in urban areas the lockdown, and now the students and children are forced to stay inside the house. Now they are not connecting with the nature. Now they are only connecting with the TV, Alexa, and some devices, and some games, video games, and all. So they don't have, they are not getting any chance to connect with their nature, not getting chance to connect with their immediate, parks, biodiversity. So, and that there is also a problem of scarcity of space in urban areas. We don't have enough space. Shrinking of space is another issue, and lack of parks, lack of sports grounds. So our youth doesn't have proper, resources to to manifest their ideas. So nature deficit disorder has become very pertinent issues, and lots of work is going on to see that what kind of changes youth is facing. So climate literacy, disaster literacy is another issue which in especially in the developing countries we are missing. We are literate, but we are getting literate and educated just to get a job. So that is not enough. We have to expand our understanding. We have to be literate on all the parameters, whether it's climate, disaster, social literacy. Everything has to be there. So, and talking about the sustainable development goals, this sustainable consumption and production, which is goal 12, and this goal 13, which entirely focuses on climate change, has to be taken into consideration when we are dealing with this youth and climate change. And we have also we have to see this global north and south divide, what north is doing and what south is doing, what kind of action plan, what kind of initiative is coming from the north, and how it has been implemented throughout the world, and what kind of gain we are getting being the developing nation, or in the southern part, being located on the southern part of the hemisphere. So it has to be seen, and its impact has to be seen in a broader perspective. We have to see that what kind of impact is being done, observed on the have-nots, or those people or the communities who are lying in the lower strata, right? So inequalities and exclusion has to be seen, and we have to see this issue for vulnerable and marginalized group also. We don't have to see with the capitalist mindset or capitalist lens, right? So lots of projects are going on, and youngs are the key actors in raising awareness, running educational programs, promoting sustainable lifestyles, conserving nature, supporting renewable energy, adopting environmental friendly practices. Lots have been identified, documented, and implemented also at many levels, at educational levels, at community levels. So lots of effort is being done. And we have to realize that nature, like climate is changing, and nature has its own threshold limit. It gives its own solutions, which can be called as nature-based solutions. So we can also identify the best practices and nature-based solutions for this scrubbing the impact of climate change and making this world more sustainable and bright. Now there's a theory called, I have tried to integrate this PAVE theory in this climate change. PAVE theory deals with the perception, attitude, values, emotions. And unless we have a very good perception about our environment, our nature, our surroundings, if we have a very good perception, then our attitude is going to be good. And if our attitude is good towards our mother earth, towards our environment, nature, we are going to value it. If our attitude is negative, we are not going to value our ecosystem and surroundings, right? And if the things which you value in life you are going to be connected emotionally. So when you are connected emotionally with your nature, with your immediate surroundings, you are not going to harm that particular entity or that particular environment. So this is a behavioral theory which came into existence in 1920s, but because of the quantification, because of the capitalization, because of the abstract idea, now we have almost forgot this behavioral approach, or we can say humanistic approach. So we have to bring it back, the behavioral approach and humanistic approach in resource conservation, or you can say in fighting this climate change issue. So this is very important. Until and unless we change from within, we are not going to make lots of efforts, right? So realization and implementation is one big issue. Now, see, is there any hope for the future? Many students think, and even everyone thinks, that is there going to be change? Lots of things we have already lost. It is irreparable. We are not in a position to get it back. But still, yes, there's a term called local think globally, act locally. The problems are at global level, but we have to give the solutions from local level. So there are policies at global level like Millennium Development Goals, SDG, United Nations Framework for Climate Change, Global Environment Facilities, United Nations Environmental Program is there. At regional level, if we talk in context of India and surrounding, SAARC is there, OPEC is there, BRICS, G8, lots of regional corporations are also working to bridge and to solve this problem. Policies at national level, we have national, state, district, block, at even village panchayat level, programs are there, and but the proper implementation is missing. Programs, we have formulated very nice programs and very implementable programs which can be easily implemented, but there should be a will and awareness at each and individual level so that we can implement it. So for case studies, you can, I'm not going to deal this case study, you people can have a look on this YouTube channel. Just type Pipalantri village, you will get that how communities of this Pipalantri village has restored a degraded ecosystem, and what kind of model they have adopted, and they have they have replanted and they have rejuvenated a almost lost village. And lots of other initiatives are also there, like women emancipation, women empowerment, and lots of projects, lots of interconnected projects is being implemented by that village level, and that village is has received lots of applauds and lots of prizes from all over the world. So you can have a look on this documentary for greater details. We have to learn. Until unless we learn, we are not going to, to contribute in a better manner. So as the impact of climate change intensify, with each passing year, more and more young people are joining this movement for positive change. And by leading the discussion around the climate change, they are also spreading awareness and motivating others to take action. So students are now coming, lots of activists, student activities and youth from all over the world. Greta Thunberg from Sweden to lots of, almost all the countries. You just type on the Google, you will get that lots of students, lots of youth voices are coming. Recently from the Australia, lots of protests was done for this environmental conservation and on issues of pollution and climate change by the youth. So throughout the world, the students and the youth are now taking the charge, right? And as you know that young people are as the agent of positive change in society, and now everything lies on the youth of that particular nation, right? So next, yes, this is very important. What can youth do for, or in a different manner, what youth can do? So get informed. First of all, we have to collect knowledge. We have to collect information that what is going on at science level, innovation level, research level, community level. What is the real situation? We have to get information. So information is one most important thing. Be the change. Now, whatever information you are getting, try to understand, try to incorporate, try to synthesize. Then after that, you can educate your peer groups, you can educate your communities, your village, your nearby people, you can mobilize them. You can also volunteer, you can advocate for government actions, and with all these effects you can implement, and you can raise your voice, right? And you have to raise your awareness and consciousness, right? This I'm skipping. Yes. These things are very important. So I want all the students to please listen, and not only listen, try to implement at your level. First is plant and adopt a tree. That is one of the best practice for any problem on the Earth's surface. If you are planting a tree and if you are protecting a tree, it is going to solve almost all the problems, whether it's drought, whether it's flood, whether it's disaster, whether it's climate change, food security, whatever problem is there, there is one solution, which is the best is plant a tree. On your Valentine Day, either your birthday, collect some money, buy some plants, good plants as per the local habitat, as per the biophysical atmosphere, geography of that particular area, and plant the tree. Village knowledge centers are very important. Bio village and village biodiversity register, disaster register, these are very important. You can get lots of information about your village, about your locality from that particular register. Lots of states have started this village knowledge centers. So you can involve, you can associate yourself with the village knowledge center, and you can start contributing, right? Plant a tree for getting educational degree. Your Delhi University has started this scheme. Let's see when it is getting implemented. So you will get the degree only if you have planted a tree and that plant is surviving, right? And lots of similar programs are going on throughout the world. In Singapore, Malaysia, lots of universities have implemented this. Tree census of the locality is very important, as we have done in our college also. We have done our tree census, and every year we are trying to identify that is there any growth or any loss of tree, right? I have already talked about the literacy, climate literacy, ecological literacy. Networking and knowledge sharing is very important. When our NIDM, National Institute of Disaster Management, has also come out with the institutional network, they are sharing the knowledge on climate change and various disasters with all the universities and the willing or the non-governmental organizations, so that the information dissemination is done properly and we are well informed about any disaster, right? And we have to realize and understand that good ecology is good economies. So everything is being done for the economies, to strengthen the economies. Our trees are cut, our forest ecosystem is being degenerated and devastated just to make our economies more healthy, more strengthened. So we have to understand and we have to realize, until unless we have good ecology, until unless we have good our environmental value, we are not going to get maximum profit out of that. So we have to conserve our nature as well, while exploiting exploit it with I don't agree with the word exploitation. Just utilize it, whatever is needed, just take it from the nature, and rest should be there in its pristine form, right? So we can say that a more defined role should be given to youth to prevent the impact of climate change. As an educator, also we can assign some work. We can assign our students to carry some field work, and they can go back to the field. They can contribute for like 5 hours in a month. We can assign that 5 hours in the month. You have to go to the field and you have to work with the locals. You have to plant tree. You have to learn their traditional ecological knowledge from wherever you are. Just go and try to assimilate. Try to mingle with the traditional people, communities, rural people, tribal people, so that you can value their knowledge system. You can value them, and when you will go and meet them, they can also feel respected, that their knowledge and their ideas is being respected, right? So this is again capacity building is again now Government of India is coming with the Aapta Mitra scheme. So in each community you can opt this. This is a volunteer program by National Institute of Disaster Management. You can be Aapta Mitra, and during any disaster or mishap, you can work as a as a volunteer to mitigate that particular disaster situation. Partnership is very important. Until unless we have a good involvement of youth from academia and actual industry, we don't get the desired results. So at international level, national level, at local level, there should be a partnership, and each and everyone should be assigned equal, their respected task, and it must be lived with, with truth and honesty. Whatever is there, whatever is assigned to each and individual, it has to be respected if we want a good earth, good and livable earth for future. Biennial assessment is also important, and there should be integration there. Like we cannot say that only youths are youth can save our nature. There should be a integration, and there should be integrity. Youth, women, men, all the traditional communities, all can make a collective effort to make this world better. There are a few more points. These are the, I think, last one is very important. The role of primary, secondary, and tertiary education institutions in teaching more environmental-based curricula. ESD is very important, and there should be means in now it has been started in schools also, but I think in schools and colleges and at university level there should be infusion of environment-based curricula. We should start teaching at formal education system level so that the people, the young, can understand the importance. We can sensitize their minds for the protection of our nature, right? So now this is, I think this is the last slide. So 7 steps to action for the youth. What you can do: find out more about climate change. Whatever you know, that is not enough. There is always room of development. So try to find out the information for your local area, identify the problem and link it with your current work, identify the problem, what you can do, what can be your role, right? Plan your action, what can you do, what kind of plan you can formulate, which can be feasible, economically feasible, socially viable, and then take action. Like I have given a very simple solutions: plant a tree. You can plant a tree. Nobody is going to stop you if you are planting a tree in a park, in any open area, right? So take action, plant a tree, or do whatever your locality requires. And now then spread the word. Try to propagate, try to disseminate the information in your peer groups. Now youths are very advanced. They use lots of social media platform, and they are very wise in disseminating the information. You can do that. You can motivate your friends, your immediate ones to take action. And similarly, you can take actions and you can adopt new ways to curb the problem. So this is all from my side, and this is my last message, that this is a high time and you have to change your behavior, and you have to start taking actions right now. There is no planet B. And down the lane, after 40 years, 50 years, the projections are very bad. You cannot imagine. I don't want to say this. Projections are very bad. There is no planet B. It's a high time. Not only youth, each and everyone from us should start working and should make efforts at individual level so that we can safeguard our planet and we can respect our planet. So some success we have received, but a long way to go. So with this, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful session. We hope that the students who joined today's session have gained a handful of knowledge and would do their bit to foster the humanities' efforts to ensure a sustainable living. Now, I would like to hand over the spotlight to Dr. Sunita Singh, convener of Vidya Vistar, to give a vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. A very good evening to everyone who are present over here. It is rightly mentioned by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, that fighting climate change calls for innovation, cooperation, and willpower to make the changes that the world needs. On behalf of Vidya Vistar Committee and SPADE of Shivaji College, University of Delhi, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the distinguished speakers of the webinar today, Professor Suresh C. Rai, Head Department of Geography, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi, Professor Ashutosh Mohanty, Dean Research, Director, International Relations, Faculty of Science and Technology, Madhyanchal Professional University, Bhopal, who is also the president of the collaborating organization of today's webinar, Center for Environment and Economic Development, SEED, New Delhi. Dr. Ghanshyam Sharma, Program Manager, the Mountain Institute of India, Sikkim, and Professor and Dr. Prabodh Kumar Mishra, Department of Geography, Shivaji College, University of Delhi. We thank our speakers for sharing their expertise and enlightening the participants. I take this opportunity and express my thanks and gratitude to the principals of partner colleges under Vidya Vistar scheme, Dr. Ayata M. Upreti, Principal Sikkim Government College, Dr. Lalit Kumar, Principal DAV College, Muzaffarnagar. Please pardon us for the change in name while I just came to know from Dr. Garima ma'am, and this was mentioned, so my apologies to you for not correcting the name. Dr. Muhammad Ayub, Principal, Himalayan Degree College, Rajouri, JK. My sincere thanks to our principal, Professor Shiv Kumar Sehdev, for his constant support and guidance, whose active involvement in all the college activities and motivation has been phenomenal. His leadership and vision has encouraged us in all our endeavors. I would like to extend my appreciation and gratitude to the organizing team members of V2S and SPADE, Professor Mridula, Dr. Geeta, Dr. Prabodh Kumar Mishra, Dr. Richa Arora, Dr. Divya Mohanty, Dr. Shilpa Jain, Dr. Nidhi Tyagi, Dr. Niti Goyal, Dr. Chavi Sharma, and Ms. Vanita Chedda for their support. I also acknowledge the help rendered by Mr. Ratan and his team for his technical necessities of this webinar. Students of the SPADE Society, Harshit, Vamika, Nishant, Vidhi, Hardik, and Sejal for their support in preparing the documentary and comparing the today's session flawlessly. Thank you so much, students. My sincere thanks to the participants for the overwhelming response. We hope listening to the deliverances during the webinar are enjoyable and knowledgeable experience for you, and it enriches you academically. We conclude the vote of thanks with these words of an American science communicator, popularly known as Bill Nye. The lesser we do address climate changes now, the less we do to address the climate changes now, the more regulations we'll have in the futures. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I'm just posting the feedback form in the chat box. Kindly fill it up for receiving the certificates. I hand over to Vidhi now. Vidhi, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Climate change is indeed the biggest problem for the world today, as it is not only adversely affects us in the present, it threatens the very existence of future generations who are not even responsible for it, but might have to pay the price nevertheless. It is thus the need of the hour to address every aspect of this global problem and find a sustainable solution that is in the best interest of each and every living and non-living component of this ecosystem. On this note, I will now end today's session. All the participants are requested to fill the feedback form that has been shared in the chat box. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope to get more opportunities to host you all in future.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
May I end the meeting, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Thank you, Chavi.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I request not to end. Let the participants fill the feedback form.
Sure.
Otherwise, they'll lose the access. Ma'am, can we wait for 5 more minutes?
Sure.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Chavi, do we end the meeting now?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.